I'm Prospector's wife, Tara. Here's a little taste of my world. It's time for Prospector's Picky Pet Peeves on Rock 107.
Have you seen the commercials for BetMGM? You know, with Jamie Foxx? There's one commercial where he says, and I quote, "That's a win." And then some small celebratory sounds are going on. And then Jamie turns to the camera and rather tersely says, "I said, that's a BetMGM win." And then there's fireworks and stuff. But he never said it was a BetMGM win until he said it then. His second line should have been, "I mean, that's a BetMGM win." I know it's picky, but this is Picky Pet Peeves, right?
Good Lord.
I hate when TV weathermen tell me a little sun is trying to peek out of the clouds, or the clouds are attempting to block out the sun. No, those are human attributes. The clouds are simply starting to block out the sun. The sun is simply shining through a break in the clouds. The sun, the clouds, they don't possess the ability to try anything. That's a pathetic fallacy, and these supposed science types should know better.
Seriously?
Political commercials. All of them. And I know I kind of make a living off them, but for Pete's sakes, do we need them so far in front of the election? I think 30 days out is fine. 30 days out, not one day more. That goes for candidates, PACs, all of that stuff. If you try to run one before October, you get pulled from the ticket, no questions asked.
Nobody cares. You think that was bad? Try living with him. Love you, honey. Mean it.
Powerful camera and a price tag that could make even a treasure chest blush. Today is National Day of Encouragement, so please take a minute today and reach out to a New York Giants fan. Michigan State suspended football coach Mel Tucker amid sexual harassment allegations. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis immediately sent him a letter of support.
It's 60 Minutes meets Gone in 60 Seconds. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
The New York Jets experimented with Aaron Rodgers, and so far it's been a bad trip. Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. The Jets were dealt the loss of Aaron Rodgers after only 4 snaps. Rodgers forced out of the game to a blue sideline tent and then onto a cart and to the locker room from there. Now, so far, x-rays are negative, but there's no word on the extent of the injury or if Aaron will miss any more games. But once again, sports proves that teamwork can prevail. It wasn't pretty, but the Jets climbed their way back into the game and then took it to OT. Buffalo got the first possession in overtime, but was forced to punt, and then this happened.
It's a short punt. Gibson on the return, near side. I don't see any flags, and he's gonna go. Jets win it. Touchdown, rookie Xavier Gibson. Game over.
Yeah, there you go. The Jets 1-0, beating Buffalo at New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. There was some speculation last night that the injury to Aaron Rodgers could be a torn Achilles tendon. Now, no official word as of now, but if that's true, I mean, that's the end of the Rodgers experiment for this year in New York. That would end his season. I think I speak for Jets fans watching the game last night when Aaron went down when I say... Rock 107, do you know the big 3? Tell me what those video game songs are, my friend.
Money Talks.
That's 1.
Photograph.
That's 2.
I Love Rock and Roll.
Oh, sorry. 2 out of 3. Not a winner. Sorry, man.
Oh.
Rock 107, do you know what songs we're playing in our classic rock video game montage?
I think so.
All right, what do you got?
Money Talk.
Yep.
Hysteria.
Oh, sorry, not Hysteria.
Oh, okay.
Rock 107, what are those 3 songs in that classic rock video game montage?
Money Talk.
Yep.
Photograph.
Yep.
And Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills by Weezer, rounding it off. Yes, we finally got a winner. Who are you?
Ken, man.
Ken, you got a $50 gift card for Bartari, Lackawanna Avenue in downtown Scranton. They got 50-plus arcade games, some as low as a quarter, 20-plus pinball machines, great food. You're going to have a blast. You're a winner. Classic rock video game here on National Video Game Day on Rock 107.
All right.
2 for Tuesday, double shot of Journey, Rock and Dunmore on Rock 107.
jerky and cranky, and that makes for a lot of awkward interactions.
What a jerk.
Help Prospector learn from his mistakes. It's time for Am I a Jerk on Rock 107.
So I have a lifelong friend, Greg Zander. Now, growing up, Xander was late for everything. And I mean late. Half hour, hour, sometimes more. More often than not, more. Going to high school dances at Scranton Central back in the day, we'd have to get to his house and hound him, throw clothes at him, pester him just to get close to being out the door on time. He was always late, meeting us to head to school or bike races or whatever. So then I started Xander time. When I was planning something, I told him it was like 90 minutes earlier than it really was. And it worked brilliantly for years. Xander would get places exactly at the time we did. It was a stroke of genius. Xander moved away a couple of years ago, but he was in town recently and we were all going to dinner. We made reservations for 7:30, but we told him 6 p.m. You know, Xander time. Amazingly, he shows up at 6. Yeah, for once, he was on time. And now he's PO'd that we've been lying to him for 35 years. He's mad at me because I started it all. So I ask you, am I a jerk? Nancy says, Facebook.com/Angry Prospector. Nancy says, yeah, a bit of a jerk because you didn't realize that he's matured since then. Shannon says, you're not a jerk. He's a jerk for making everyone wait for him. What do you think? Am I a jerk?
Prospector, I don't think you're a jerk on this one.
You think this was acceptable behavior, right?
I would say so. I mean, if he's always late, I mean, how are you supposed to know?
Yeah, like one time out of a million, he pulls it off, right?
Yep, no, I hear you.
And now all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. But for years, I kept him on the straight and narrow, man. Don says we would do the same thing to my sister-in-law. When she finally figured it out, she was PO'd too, but she was on time. And Bill says, I have Xander time for a few people. I don't think you're a jerk. What do you think? Am I a jerk? Rock 107.
Prospector, I thought that was pretty ingenious of you guys working on Xander time. So you're definitely not a jerk. You just made things happen right.
That's right. I was taking the initiative. Dave says, I'm always late. I have zero regard for time and clocks and schedules, and I have no friends because of it. I would have loved to have a buddy keeping Xander time instead. So no, Prospector, you're not a jerk. You're a conscientious pal. Jenny says, you're not a jerk. I've done it to other people. And Shannon says, you know what? Kind of a jerk here because your friend moved away years ago and yet you're still doing stuff to him you did when he was a kid. Maybe it was time to sit down and have an adult conversation with him. What do you think? Am I a jerk?
I did it for years to the teenagers that used to come to my house. I had one clock in the kitchen that always had one certain time on it.
Ooh.
I always sent them home 1 hour before that they were due home. And they did it for years without catching on.
You actually went so far as to change a clock. I think that's tougher nowadays with cell phones and stuff, but that's a good move. I love it. Who's this?
You are not a jerk. My name is Kathy.
Kathy, thank you so much. That opinion shared by many in the question today of am I a jerk for inventing Xander time to keep my friend on time? The answer, overwhelmingly, I am not a jerk.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
This is something you see in movies, but not in real life, right? A cop in England helped catch a burglar on Friday after a little kid let the cop commandeer his bike. They promised to return it and did.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107. What's a cat, a dunce, you know, a dullard, simpleton, or a clod, nitwit, dipstick, pea-brain, mouth breather, or numbskull?
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Jam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
Here are the nominees. Nominee number 1.
Have you ever acted out on random people online or even in real life and then realized someone you knew was watching? Well, here's an extreme version of that. A 40-year-old anger ball in Florida named Armando Mastiste was arrested last week after chasing down a group of teens and pointing a gun at them. It's unclear what set Armando off, but it was apparently some kind of road rage incident because he aggressively chased their car and his truck, forced them to turn down a dead-end street, and then confronted them with a gun. That's when Armando noticed one of the kids was his neighbor from across the street. He cooled off and said, quote, "Oh, my bad, bro," and went back to his truck and drove away. The kids had been driving to school, and when they got there, they reported the altercation to police. Armando is facing charges of resisting officers and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and some of the kids' parents are pressing charges.
Nominee number 2.
Do you know how difficult it is to resod a lawn? Fort Myers police in Florida arrested a man after he pointed a gun at 2 construction workers out of fear they would ruin the grass on his lawn. Around 9 p.m. last Thursday, 2 construction workers were leaving work for the night, attaching the trailer to their truck, and that's when they said a man walked out of his home and pointed a gun at them because he was afraid they were going to ruin his grass. Timothy DeMars, 62 years old, told deputies he would shoot the construction workers if they ruined his grass. Deputies say they found the gun he allegedly pointed at the man on a shelf in his garage, and it was loaded. He's facing charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without the intent to kill. He has since bonded out of jail.
And the winner is
the guy who was arrested for pointing a gun at construction workers after he feared they'd ruin his lawn. Are you kidding me? You are the Yam Bag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107.
Thanks for listening to Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.